Ja, nichts.
You can just baseline, you can use a baseline instead of they can do but they are good. You should be out on that. One will be out on this. You can even experience in Dubai one bank. I think Dubai they have this report iPad. You can give him your ID first. You can check, and then you do the screen. You can sign on that digitally, and then you will no, not him. Yeah. But also they will ask ID in the section. Yeah, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Before signature, they use.
So, dear colleagues, I welcome you, or we welcome you to this web meeting. We're going to present you today the new soldering kit for the TRIAC 80 device. So my name is David Sender from Leicester Academy, and on behalf of the business line PRF, we welcome you to this web session. We have our expert here today. Please, Roland.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, for those who don't know me, my name is Roland Bieler, and I'm leading the business line PRF. There we have the market segments flooring, plastic fabrication, and roofing. And as Dave mentioned, today we will do something new. So we will not talk about plastic welding. We will talk about soldering. Stainless steel, metal, copper, soldering, about this market segment. Tinsmith, plumber is something new. And I'm looking forward also then in the question time, if this, especially in the country in Asia, if this is a topic for you. I'm wondering, and yeah, looking forward for this session.
I will now be in the background. I would like to start with the session with a bit of organizational topics in the first couple minutes. So enjoy the session. Thanks for joining. So now you should all see the presentation, the start slide, web meeting soldering iron kit TRIAC 80. As Roland mentioned, it's a difference between plastic welding and soldering. So we focus today on soldering iron. The web meeting includes the following content. You see, we split the session into 6 parts. We will give you in a short theory session. We will present the new market segment, plumber and tinsmith. Then Roland will give you some explanation about unique selling points, application examples, then how to approach these new sales channels and this new segment. And last but not least, we will have a live session with Roland, and we have Q&A session implemented during this online session. It will last around 45 till 50 minutes. The objectives of this session, you should know the new market segment we talk about, be familiar with, know the USP of soldering iron kit, how to approach the new sales channels, know the main applications where we can use the soldering iron kit, and last but not least, to become more proficient. You are all quite familiar with our web sessions. Here we have web meeting rules of play. So we would like that you switch off your camera and microphone during the session. The recording already started. You can always ask via the chat functionality, and also you can speak up during the Q&A session to place your questions. During the session, at the beginning, we will start with a theory part, and then during the live demonstration, please pin the presenter screen. The presenter screen is my screen. I will explain this before we start the live session. So within the participants list, you have to look for my name, and this is David Sender. Right next to my name, you will find 3 dots. If you click on these 3 dots, you can enable the pin functionality, and this will enlarge the screen so you can easily switch from the PowerPoint presentation to the live demonstration screen in order to have a perfect view. Dear colleagues, I would like that you switch off or mute your microphone. We have a bit of noises in the back now. So all of you joining, please mute your microphone. Thank you. Now I hand over to Roland. Roland will start the session for the new soldering iron kit for TRIAC 80. Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, for the introduction. So we jump into the theory. Here you see picture shows you the surrounding, in what kind of surrounding we are. So this is in the shop of a plumber, tinsmith. By the way, in central of Europe, is this a profession? So people go to learn this profession, plumber, tinsmith. So here you see the workshop. He's doing inside work with copper. So this is for residential, the drainage, the water drainage in a residential, slope-proofed. Then you see a picture outside. This is on a slope roof, as you see there the skylight. On the skylight, he has to do some connections, the metal connection, and he's doing there this soldering job outside. So typically we have in that profession, plumber, tinsmith, workshop inside, they do preparations, and they then go outside to do the connections on the slope roof. So here you see our biggest competitor if we talk about professional soldering, metal soldering. This is our biggest competitor. This is the open flame. This is the dangerous open flame with propane gas. So this is our competitor. We have to understand nobody did wait for Leicester for this soldering solution, because state of the art is with the open flame with the gas. Everybody in the education center, the profession, the people, they learn with the open flame with the gas. So this we have to understand. This is something completely new for this profession and this market segment with our alternative electrical TRIAC 80. So this is the alternative to the dangerous open flame with gas. Here you see this kit we have, 4 parts. I will show you afterwards. And this kit fits for a standard TRIAC 80. This is the good thing on it. So people who has already a TRIAC 80, they can buy the kit, and with this they can work soldering job. There is an arrow, it shows preheating is important. This is the good thing with our electrical solution, with the TRIAC. The preheating is important. The preheating is heating up the metal material. This is like on plastic welding. Also, preheating is important to heat up the material, and then you can weld. And here in this case, you can solder. Here, this person is soldering outside, and on the right side, you see the back of this metal. Afterwards, we'll see some nice graphs and picture. What does it mean? I just want to say, we speak about waterproofing. It's not just this soldering is that looking nice. It's not because of this. The function is to make the roof, the connections, watertight. So we talk about waterproofing. So this is the same like in plastic welding. For better understanding, we show you now a video. So you see he is mounting the kit on a standard TRIAC 80. Then he's doing inside work in his workshop. He is pulling, the technique is pulling there. And this is important to know, our competitor open flame. So we have a safe alternative with the TRIAC 80. So the TRIAC 80 is not heating up too much the material. Sometimes this is a problem with open flame, and he can work very nice. Adjust the temperature with the closed loop technology. This is also an advantage we have with the closed loop. On a standard TRIAC 80. But it was just short surrounding what we talk about inside, outside soldering, typically in a residential market for slope proof. So as I mentioned before, it's nice, a multi-functional tool with TRIAC. Either you do welding job, plastic welding, or you do soldering. And in Central Europe, a lot of companies do both. So they have a department with plastic welding, and they have a department with soldering in the same company. So this is why it's nice, a multi-using tool with the TRIAC 80 for 2 applications, welding, plastic, and soldering. So in our opinion, important to know for you are those 5 points, the unique selling points, the sales arguments. So more safe for the applicator. There is no necessary anymore to use the open flame, the dangerous open flame with gas. Then point 2, we are able with precise soldering. Why I mention this? Because outside conditions, sometimes it's windy on a slope roof, and the wind disturbs the open flame, and then they have to adjust again because it's windy. This is an advantage with our closed loop system. The soldering iron has always the same temperature, and it doesn't matter if we have windy condition. This is the point 2. Then the TRIAC 80, it's free adjustable temperature. So people told us, professional people in Plumper, Tinsmith, they told us they appreciate this because then they see the temperature. For example, afterwards I will solder with 340 degrees stainless steel, and then you see the temperature and they appreciate this. They say, okay, this temperature fits, and then we are safe. Point 3. Environmental friendly. Point 4. Topic sustainability. There is no use of propane gas. The people can also save some money because usually the electrical is included in a construction, and so they can save money because they don't have to pay for the propane gas. Small invest, especially for people who have already the TRIAC. They just have to buy the accessory. In addition, if we talk about marketing mix, the 4 Ps, about the product, we have a nice quality. It's a tempered copper soldering tip. Then we believe we have a good price performance. You see the price on the right side. I agree. We double checked this in Central of Europe, and we are below 150 Swiss francs. That fits in Central of Europe. And then, of course, we have to double check in Asia and other countries if this price fits. Then the place, in our opinion, this is the nice thing. It's a new market segment. It's not plastic welding, it's soldering. It's a new market present. This all comes in addition. Now we speak about the accessory, but if you can sell also the hand tool, or maybe afterwards consumables, I will mention this also, consumables like the soldering or the soldering flux, things like this, then you can sell even more into this new market segment. So that means, yes, this is work. That means we have to approach a new market segment, the plumper tinsmith. Then we could approach the roofing industry trader if you have this in your country, or the plumper tinsmith trader. And point 4, also important, is the association. In Central of Europe, we have association about this profession, and approach this association, show them the alternative, the safe alternative with electrical TRIAC 80. So this is a chance for us. Then promotion, we have the whole mix. We prepared flyer, videos. Then in the headquarters, we started with the social media campaign on Facebook. We prepared the Google AdWords campaign. Please come in contact with us, with our communication department, and synchronize this, because we started now in the headquarters and they will support you on the social media campaign. Then do together with, if you have dealers like Plumper Tinsmith, do the approach together. Help them, give them a nice kit, and then we can successful together. Last point, focus to promote through new sales channels, Plumper Tinsmith. And in our opinion, in these shops, they have point of sale. And we have a nice cardboard, a nice box. You will see afterwards. There you can place it very nicely, this accessory in the POS. So how we start with the parameters? As always, it depends outdoor circumstances, but as a fifth rule, you see copper. Copper has the highest temperature. Typically for 7520, depends if you're inside or outside. Also with the airflow, we have to consider, usually it's recommended a medium airflow. Then we have the metal zinc is a bit less temperature, 400, 450, also reduce airflow. Chromium steel, the stainless steel, has the lowest temperature, typically 300 to 400, also recommended to reduce a bit the flow of air. Then the lead strip, we have pictures afterwards. Also there, it's recommended about 350 degrees. So it gives you a range about the temperature. How should I start? And consider, depends what kind of metal we have. Also, the remark, it's important to clean the soldering tip, the soldering iron. Otherwise, you will not have a good solder. Before soldering, use always soldering flux. I will show in the praxis. About the solder, you see on the left side, you see these bars. This is the solder bar you need for soldering. Typically, the share should be 50-50. That means 50 tin, 50 lead. Also, many suppliers offer 60-40. That means 60 tin, 40 lead. As more tin, as more premium it is, as better we can solder. I mentioned already to reduce a bit the airflow, because otherwise the soldering flux will evaporate, so it will disappear. So reduce a bit the airflow. Soldering flux is preparing the metal for a reliable soldering. This is the reason why we have to use the soldering flux. This you see in the middle picture and on the right. There is mentioned for steel, we have to use another flux than for copper. This has to be considered. What can we offer for you? We can offer a nice cardboard with the whole kit, or if you need only the tip, or if you need only the customizable tip. So those three parts are in the cardboard for the POS. Those are the consumables. Hopefully many times they will buy this consumable. That's why are these three parts in the board. Then the other two, we have the tool stand, we have the soldering iron adapter. This is not in the cardboard. So principally, you see the picture on the left side is a good example. On the right side, not, because you see the metal pieces on the right side, the gap is too big. So that's why on the left side is the right solution. And you see what happened. This is this word, this capillary action. The capillary action sucks the sin into the overlap on the left side, which makes the metal watertight. So this is important to know. The technique is this capillary action who makes the watertight, the waterproof. And on the right side, a bad example because the gap is too big. So two techniques, pole soldering, as we saw in the video, or seam stairs. So this is cross to the overlap on the right side. The two techniques, either you pull or you do this seam stairs. Again, on the left is this waterproofing, the soldering on the metal, and on the back side you see the capillary action nicely on the rear side. So the sin is completely covered in the overlap, which makes the metal and the overlap watertight. So now we have the possibility, if you have questions and answer, I ask Dave if we have questions. Or you can also unmute your microphone and ask direct into the session. Or you write. If you have not a question, I have a question. Please, the encouraged person, reply my. I'm really interested, for example, in Asia, is this a topic, soldering? I mean, professional soldering for the market segment plumper, tinsmith? Now I try later on again for my question. We have now, would it be possible for the customer to try the kit with a TRIAC? Is it TRIAC ST? Yeah. Yes, it is possible with the TRIAC ST. It's possible, but it's not recommended because the tool stand, it's not fittable. And then with the TRIAC ST, you cannot adjust the temperature. I will show you this. Technically, it's possible with the TRIAC ST to use the kit also, but we have some disadvantage on this. But if the customer wants to use on the TRIAC ST, the customer is the boss, he can. Okay, I try again. Gentlemen, please answer my question about, I'm really wondering, in Asia or in other markets, not central, in central of Europe, is it a big topic? And by the way, we have nice orders already on this kit because they are looking for an alternative. You know, if you have a roof which is sensitive with dust, with wood, this professional was afraid to use the open flame because otherwise you will burn down the whole building. So, but in your country, in other country, in Asia, maybe somebody could reply, is this a topic in your country? Soldering? Or maybe everybody is already sleeping. That's why nobody is answering. Okay, let's continue. I will try later on again to ask you if it is a topic. Good. So we continue with the live demo. That maybe wakes you up a little bit.
So this is David speaking. Now we will switch to the live demonstration. I can highly recommend that you now go to the participants list and look for my name, Sender David. Right next to my name, you will find 3 dots, and then you can enable the pin function. So with this, you have a perfect view to the live demonstration. Thank you.
So yes, now you see the cardboard, which includes the kit. There is the stand, there is the adapter, there is welcome back. So there is this tip, the customized tip. So typically this profession likes to play around to make his own shape. This is possible with this. Then we prepared a tip already, which we believe is a good shape. They confirmed this profession with this kind of shape. They were satisfied to work and do the soldering like this. Then we have the adapter. And we have the stand, which fits on the TRIAC 80. I prepared the stand already, so you can use the standard screws, which is on the TRIAC 80. So you don't have to look for other screws or the same screws, which are already on the TRIAC 80 installed. So I fasten a bit the screws for the stand, and the shape of the stand is now for the TRIAC 80. The TRIAC 80 is asymmetric, the TRIAC 80 is symmetric. That's why this stand fits only on the TRIAC 80. But if you have demand, then we could develop also the stand for the TRIAC 80. But at the moment, this is only for TRIAC 80, the stand. So this is the kit. Then we continue. You mount, I take the screwdriver number 4. We mount the adapter on the standard TRIAC 80. And then I take the tip. You hear now it fits. I take the bigger screwdriver number 5 and fasten the tip on the adapter. So then the kit is mounted. So this is really very easy. And now we are preparing the TRIAC 80 heating up. Yes, heating up the soldering iron. So this takes some time to heating up because this is a massive copper, and this we have to heat up. I'll show you then the soldering. Here you see the overlap. There is already a pre-fixation. Then you see the overlap. I marked 2 lines. This line shows you how far the overlap goes. That's why this line is. So that means I solder from here to here. And don't start on the overlap, so start a bit like this, and then put the solder, and like this we can solder. This is about the technique. And then I'll show you the soldering flux. We have soldering flux. It's called the Ferrinox. That could be like this. This is a liquid. And with this liquid, I prepare now the overlap for the soldering. I took now the flux, the soldering flux for stainless steel. So that has to be considered, because this flux of example is for copper. This is a more rigid cream, let's say. Good, then we start with the preparation. Oh, sorry. So the preparation, this is a copper iron. So I do the preparation. I clean now the soldering iron tip. And then I put the soldering as a preparation. You see nicely I put the soldering on the tip. And then I clean a little bit the tip. And then I'm ready. Now we have 340 degrees, medium airflow for stainless steel. Now I do the preparation. First I pull a little bit. I make the pull technique. Which is a prefixation on the metal. And then I do the final soldering and do now the cross. I do the cross, those so-called stairs. And now I pull the sin into the overlap. And this capillary action pulls now the sin into the overlap to make the watertight. The waterproofing. And so far, so this is the technique. We have the overlap. Usually you can first take some pull action and then you do the stair crosswise, put some solder. So, like this, have a double check. Yes, very nice. You see now on the rear side, the soldering is coming out through the capillary action into the overlap on the rear side. You see the outlet of the sin, which indicates, yes, this is a good solder. I'll show you now what happened if I take the wrong flux. I take now the flux for copper, just to see what happened if I put the flux for copper. Which now is not ideal. So obviously you see what happened here. There is no good connection because I took the wrong flux. You see the difference between taking the wrong flux compared to taking the good flux. There's a huge difference between this is wrong here because of the wrong flux. So then finally, if the soldering work is finished, you cool down a little bit, and now you see, Dave, maybe you can show here the green part. There is some green. Yes, now we saw. We see it, and now I clean it with a rack, just a rack with water. This is it, just a rack with water, and then you see how nice it looks. The flux is now disappeared, and we have the nice stairs. Yes, I think this is it regarding the praxis. I cool down now the tool. And then we go to some more pictures, some application pictures, and then we're going to close this session. So Dave is also a multifunctional man. So he's the video man, the cameraman, and then going back to the presentation. So many thanks, Dave, for your support, and hopefully next time again. Good, perfect. So here to finalize this session, yeah, it's important. Take this flux, so that before soldering, like plastic welding, you have to clean the metal, and then you can solder. This is important to know, either stainless steel or copper or zinc. Then you need the different flux. This is very typical residential slope roof. The lead rack. You see, this is lead. The metal is lead. And then you see the shingles. And then one row of shingle is missing. He is putting then the final row of shingle. And then he flaps over the shingle this lead. And then it makes watertight like this. It's a typical application, and they appreciate to do this job with the TRIAC because with the open flame, you see there the wood, either the wood you could burn, and with the open flame, you have too much heat and you could burn a hole into the lead. A skylight, some pictures now outside on construction. Then inside the roof gutter in the workshop. Then the foam hood is also typical. On a roof, you have this foam hood, also typical. Is doing inside the workshop. And a shaped piece could be a skylight afterwards. So he's doing the pull technique. He's pulling it. And then finally on construction, this the person on the left side. He helped us. He is on the video also, and it was a nice story. We were on construction site, and suddenly the two other people came to us. Were asking, "Hey, what you're doing?" And then we say, "Oh, we do soldering. We make the roof watertight." And they were astonished because they didn't know that it's possible with a TRIAC to do the soldering job. So how to make the approach. This is hard work for you. If it is a market in your country, then we have to approach the trader, the tinsmith plumber trader. Promote this kit, try to come into the POS with our kit or with the whole device like TRIAC. You can also offer on your own. You can buy from us the accessory and then make your own kit together with the TRIAC and sell it like this. This will be also highly appreciated. So a lot of work. We have to approach the trader. To mention again for you, we prepared flyer in German and English. Go to the YouTube channel, the how-to channel from Leicester. We prepared a lot of movies with different application, what is to do before soldering, to clean, as I showed before, and so far and so forth. So a lot of nice videos you can take and share it in the social media to promote our solution. Now we're gonna to look. Dave is looking what we have for questions. Yes, we have Sumesh. In India, it is not the major business as compared to the Europe, I understand. But Sumesh, double check, please. I think, or we believe it's worth to show the world a safe alternative with this kit. In Singapore, majority is using, yes, and bitumen material. Yeah, but then we are in a completely different topic. Yes, you're right, but maybe there is a chance also to promote with the metal soldering. This is what I was asking before. It has to be double checked in your country. That was the two questions. Dave, do we have some more?
This is David speaking. Yes, Roland, we have another question. Will the eco mode function work with this soldering iron kit, or will the temperature decrease too much? What about the eco mode on the TRIAC 80?
It's a very good question. And I have to tell you, I have to double check this. I will double check this with René Meyer. I mean, he was in this project, but I want to be sure, since we have this nice feature with the eco mode to save energy, I will double check and come back to you, gentlemen, regarding this, because I could say something here, but I want to be sure how it is with the eco mode. I believe it will work, but I'm going to double check and come back to you.
Then another question is coming in. What is the typical lifetime for the soldering tip? The copper soldering tip.
This is also a good question. And I cannot finally say how long. It's a tempered quality. So that means it's strong and robust copper. It's prepared and tempered. So we have a good quality. But this is too early for us to say the life cycle, the lifetime of this copper. This feedback we will get after people using it. I just can tell you now it is a solid, good quality on the copper, rigid and tempered, good quality. And because we are using not too hot temperature, the lifetime will be probably longer than compared to using open flame. I hope I could answer this question.
There is a question regarding marketing and marketing documentation. Are flyers and manuals available as from today or as for now?
Yes, the flyers are available. The manual, next time I can show, maybe to finalize in the session, I can show on the cardboard of the POS box, you see the manual, how to mount this kit.
Dear colleagues, if you focus on the picture, I will show you. You now should see in the camera.
Yes.
The box with the explanation how to mount the soldering iron kit to the TRIAC 80.
Unfasten the screw first on the stand, then take the same screw and the adapter and the tip and fasten, and this is it. Those points are on the cardboard mentioned. Yes.
So there is another question, Roland. In plastic welding, we seal the overlap from inside. Here you melt soldering iron on the top. What is the use?
This capillary action, it's necessary to do like I showed in the praxis. Yes, it's to make watertight. It's to make the metal waterproof. And only with this technique it's possible to make waterproof. And yes, on the top you see the soldering, but through this I cannot, like in plastic welding, to go inside the overlap. This is not possible with soldering. So that's why we have to use either pull or take cross with the stairs. And like this, we have this capillary action and make the metal watertight. This is a good question. Yeah, I'm glad we have lots of questions because it's something new.
Are the documentation for this soldering iron kit also available in the extranet?
Thank you for this remark. I'm gonna to put this on the extranet. It's not yet on the extranet. I will publish in next newsletter. You get the flyers, and then we put it also to the extranet. Thank you for this reminder.
And another question is coming in, Roland. So regarding the visual aspect. So does the seam have to look nice when soldering, or is this not a point to look at?
Yes, it is a point to look at. Because in Central of Europe, this is a profession and they are proud to do a nice job. You know, they learn 3 years how to solder. Not only this, but this is part of the education. And they are proud to do a nice job. And yes, it is also to consider to have a nice soldering work, also optically. Good, I double checked with Dave. We have no more questions. I'm glad because you had quite a lot of questions. I thank you. It was very nice to having you in this session. And oh, it is something new. This is a new market segment. Double check it in your country because all this comes in addition. There is no cannibalization to plastic welding, and that makes it attractive. And you can use the kit on a standard TRIAC. And it was my pleasure to show you these new market segments together with Dave. It is always beautiful helping us. And I wish you health and good business. And thanks again for joining us. And see you next time. Bye bye. And thank you, gentlemen. Bye bye.
Bye bye, guys. All the best.